We're not going to bend or break or cower to someone's threat. We're going to stand up and unite around our shared values, and they have my assurance that I'm going to protect the families of this city.
If your Chicago mayor doesn't want to help, he can step aside. But if he impedes us, if he knowingly harbors and conceals an illegal alien, I will prosecute him.
We're not.
Put your hands behind your back, Brandon. Still one of our favorite clips.
Ma'am, I would ask that you keep your, hold on a second, stop her time. Just a second.
Some of y'all say y'all willing to go to jail for it. Trump, Tom Homan, make an example out this Negro right here first. Please come here first, because you know what? We're going to help you. We want a forensic.
Ma'am, I would ask that you keep your, hold on a second, stop her time. Just a second.
Please come make an example out of Brandon.
I would ask that you, if you want to continue speaking, you have to make sure that your language is appropriate, okay?
Nah, that language is appropriate. Y'all come make an example out of him, please.
All right.
We got Alex.
Okay, you can begin her time again.
You're going to spend our tax dollars to go, Michael Rodriguez, you said to take Trump to court to protect these illegals. You said you're going to spend our tax dollars to take Trump to court to protect these illegals if they try to come in your district. And then you said all of y'all in cahoots with each other to do it. Okay, so now we about to make y'all famous. We're going to let all y'all constituents know who y'all ratting for, that y'all wouldn't spend our tax dollars to protect illegals and to get them legal services. So that's what we're doing. That's cool, because we about to make all of y'all aldermen famous. Y'all think this is how it's going to ride? I think not. Flip Chicago red. We not playing.
Oh boy, I ain't lying to you, man. This thing gets spicier and juicier every single day, man. And we got some big news. You're not going to want to miss this one, man. Make sure y'all hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you're new here. January 20th can't get here any sooner, man. I'll tell you, because they are not effing around. And boy, Trump's borders says do not test us. Do not cross that line. Cross that line if you want. But man, they are coming in to fix what is broken, y'all. And it's absolutely a disgrace in a lot of places, man, for real. Especially in Chicago. Yeah. But Trump's borders reveals which blue city is first for mass deportations as well. Man, we got some big things in this video. So let's go and jump into it, man.
He's been the only Democrat that's willing to work with this administration as a mayor. Chicago resisting, L.A. resisting, and it looks like Tom Homan has accepted the invitation from Mayor Adams to have a meeting today to talk about what they're going to do once he takes office.
Right. We're not asking for a lot.
No.
We're asking for access to criminals.
That's right.
Have the detainers honored. Give ICE a chance. By the way, I thought it was a great, Robert Holden, a Democrat from Queens, said if you want to show that, Mayor Adams, talk is great, but if you want to show that you're sincere, set up the ICE office at Rikers again. Because they closed it down because they don't want to let.
He's also considering, Eric Adams is also considering getting rid of the sanctuary city status.
That's right. So Tom Homan, pictured right there, is going to be meeting with the mayor of New York. It's interesting. On Monday night, Tom Homan was at an event, and he revealed, we know that the deportation plan, on a wide scale, you know what American city they're going to start in? They're going to start in Chicago. He was a guest Monday night at a holiday party for Law and Order PAC. This is one of the quotes, according to CBS in Chicago. Tom Homan said, Chicago's in trouble because your mayor sucks and your governor sucks. And so he said it's going to start in Chicago right after the inauguration. And Homan asked the Mayor Johnson, and Governor Pritzker to come to the table and help with the biggest deportation in history. And here's the other quote. He said, if your mayor doesn't want to help, he can step aside. There's Johnson right there. But if he impedes us, Tom Homan said, if he knowingly harbors or conceals an illegal alien, I will prosecute him. So that's new. Now Tom Homan is suggesting if these people in the sanctuary cities do impede the federal government, he's going to press charges.
Well, you can't harbor felons.
No.
You can't. There's already a federal statute. And that's all they're saying right now is that when we come to pick them up, they're already in custody, right, or they're already in a certain community. The residents are upset. Just get out of the way.
Get out of the way.
From the residents
Get in the way if you won't.
Listen to them speaking out against their mayor. Watch.
Mayor Brandon Johnson, you took an oath to uphold the Constitution. Or when you took an oath, was it only intended to fight for the 10th and 14th Amendments regarding illegal aliens?
We don't want illegals in our community. We don't want migrants terrorizing our own people. And to have y'all sit up here and say we have to accept $70 million being given to them when you got black people who are already struggling and need help, it is a disgrace.
All people. And that, by the way, we could have played 12 of these.
I know.
So the people agree with Tom.
Well, and you could see in that wide shot, you could see that some people were wearing, you could see red shirts. You know what the red shirt said? Chicago flips red.
Flip red, yeah.
So essentially, he's getting in. Let me just finish this up. So essentially, those people who are showing up are suggesting, okay, you don't listen to me. Just remember, politics have consequences, and we could flip this town red, which would be rare.
I'm so glad this is their message, finally, because you've been to Chicago how many times?
I mean,
Gianna Caldwell's brother was killed there, and it's very dangerous already. The money needs to go to the residents. It doesn't need to go to the illegals.
Well, Ainsley, and when I was there a few months ago, they're showing this now. We're showing this now, but we covered this leading up to the election.
Yeah.
They have shut down schools of kids in the community. They said they didn't have any money for it. And then they reopened them.
To shut them down?
Well, they shut them down because the city said, here's the airport. They said, we don't have any money to fund this school or this community center. But then they reopened them, found the money magically for the illegals there. Yeah. Y'all remember when I was in there as well? I was outside of one of the holding facilities. There's drug bags all outside of the place where they clearly have some type of illegal substance there. Yeah. And the residents have been crying out for help for a long time, and the mayor is still giving a backhand.
I know. Why is the mayor doing that? He's not listening to the people.
But you know what's interesting is that the people he thinks he's representing, he doesn't understand. He's going by an old playbook. He thinks that if I go to the bat for inner city America or for minorities in my city, I'm going to make the hard decision against the law enforcement. But law enforcement and his people actually agree. He's the impediment.
Yes.
So is the Denver mayor the impediment. Yeah. Denver has fallen apart, crushing on its own weight. Per capita, more illegals, more immigrants than even New York City. And all this mayor cares about, I'm going to fight for my people. Do you understand that your people are asking you to get out of the way?
And he once agreed. Yeah. He told us in an interview that they're at their breaking point. Right. Magically, when Donald Trump is elected, then he turns back to the same old thing. Yeah. So you can't just resist because it's Trump. You got to do what your people are asking you to do.
And the Chicago people are simply saying, look, you're spending too much money on the migrants. And you know what? You know what I think the people of Chicago would like? A Department of Government Efficiency.
How long is
they need a Doge in Chicago.
Do y'all know how long he's in office?
Well, he just got
there. He's like a year ago?
He's like a year, 2.5 years, I would say. I'd say also they are in the red.
They got to get it right. They got to get it right in Chicago. They continue to elect these individuals that aren't common sense.
And that's why Tom Homan is starting in Chicago.
The crazy thing is he was second, and they had the runoff, and he ends up winning because he consolidated with
Chicago reminds me of New York. Remember, they were great cities, great cities. I still love New York. Y'all know I love New York, but it's different.
Chicago's beautiful.
Chicago was a clean mini New York. I used to always say I love to go visit my college friends in Chicago. But now we're hearing all these stories of how, Carly, Carly used to live there. They had an apartment there. Her husband.
Yeah. And there was I will never forget the mass shooting that took place outside our old apartment in Chicago, just across the street.
Nice area?
Yes.
Nice
Beautiful
area,
area. Drive-by shooting.
All the great stores on Michigan Avenue, a lot of them were closing down.
Exactly. And an innocent person was hit. So that's a jarring reality for a lot of people living in Chicago.
And need help, it is a disgrace.
Andre Smith is a former Democratic Illinois State House candidate and the founder of Chicago Against Violence. And he joins me now. Andre, good morning to you. So Tom Homan gave us a window into what to expect. He says come January 21st, there will be ICE agents in Chicago looking for gang members and criminals. If Mayor Brandon Johnson impedes those efforts, he will be prosecuted. How do you think residents in Chicago feel about that?
Well, good morning. As Chicagoans, we should be celebrating the season of joy, hope, and love. Yet, under our tree, we find neglect, disappointment. We find $575 million of taxpayers' money allocated to migrants. We are disappointed. Our shelters, our schools, our police stations, our field houses have all became shelters. And we have went through this thing, and we welcome the borders are to Chicago.
Yeah, and under Mayor Johnson, more than 51,000 migrants have arrived in Chicago since 2022, and the city has actually spent $612 million on the crisis since May 2023. And that appears to be what angers residents the most, because that is taxpayer dollars. Interesting that Tom Homan is going to be meeting with New York City Mayor Eric Adams. I mean, talk about a reach across the aisle moment there. How do you feel about that?
Well, I mean, I'm excited, and I'm excited that the mayor decided to sit down with the borders to fix this crisis. And we look for Mayor Brandon Johnson to also do the same, to cooperate. If he doesn't cooperate, then the residents are really willing to cooperate, because Mayor Brandon Johnson is known not to cooperate, even with his own residents that accidentally voted him in.
Yeah. Well, Tom Homan is getting a much different reaction from Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker than he is to Eric Adams, who appears to be welcoming of him coming in and sitting down and talking. Take a listen to what J.B. Pritzker recently said about Tom Homan and the effort to deport illegal immigrants. Watch this.
I'm open to a dialogue with him. I will say that he does not have the authority to do the things that he's talked about. Being a border czar is not an official position in the government, and will be up to the President of the United States and up to the leaders of the Customs and Border Patrol to make decisions about how we'll manage the border.
So he says he's open to talking to him, but that's clearly where the pleasantries stop. I mean, it looks like it could be a showdown come January. What do you expect?
Look, we as Chicagoans, we deserve fairness, accountability, not burdens. We need solutions. So therefore, we're willing to sit down, and especially, I challenged the border czar, just like I did, Fox when they came to Chicago, took them around to some shelters and things like that. I challenged the border czar to reach out. I stood in a tent overnight. I stopped the bus over at Wadsworth. I went to jail because I understand that, you cannot make illegal legal.
That's a good point. He cannot make illegal legal, even though it appears many people in your state of Illinois are trying to do just that. Andre Smith, thank you so much for joining us. Have a great day. We appreciate your insight.